If you're one of the people that subscribes to the idea that there's no such thing as too much counter space, you might want to hang around and check this one out. Hey everybody, welcome to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd. This is my Coldwater, Michigan hometown superstore here, getting you some much needed update footage on the 30RKD Cougar back here. And it's a really interesting RV that's maintained popularity despite its bigger size and heavier weight, because it combines a bunch of features you don't normally find in one RV. It is a perfectly portable, practically perfect, park-friendly kind of camper, and that is a lot of alliteration to wrap right off the top of your head. So, you know, obviously you're seeing that the living room in this is very nice and expansive. Despite only having one super slide, it looks and feels very large. The kitchen in this is just, oh, chef's kiss. I love the kitchen in this is amazing. It gives you all kinds of good prep space, tons of storage, and the entertainment system in this does not suck. You have a giant Jumbotron TV straight across from you at a very short distance, so even a nearsighted guy like me could probably see the thing even without corrective lenses. We've also got a full bed slide and like full giant closet up front, but what's really cool is they actually maintained a pass-through storage under it. But you might notice this RV doesn't really have great campsite window coverage. This is not the kind of RV where, you know, it just doesn't do that. Like if you want to go outside, what works on this RV is there's no campsite slides. So if you want to really get out there and maximize your patio space, there's nothing eating into it. So you really focus on really being inside or outside. It doesn't really bleed the two, but it does either one extremely well. Even as a little mini camp kitchenette, Cougar has also stepped it up with a better suspension. They now have what they call HyperCore composite walls. Cougar is the only Keystone brand out there doing like exclusively non-wood panel walls in their lamination, and we're gonna dive through all the nitty-gritty of this, good, bad, ugly, and in between. And if you appreciate the fair, candid, real approach that we give you here, hit that subscribe button, like our video, and let's get inside and see if this one might be the right one for you or not. And it is kind of crazy to me just how big this one feels in the living space. I think it's because of the barreled ceiling, the way that the color palette kind of works, and these giant windows. Now, to be fair, these windows are not looking out of your campsite side. And you can't exactly just flip-flop this model without losing about 50% of the kitchen storage. That's one of the things here. But some people enjoy privacy. Some people enjoy not having giant windows open. Some people camp where it's crazy sun country, and they don't care where the windows point because they're just going to have the window shades pulled all the time. That's maybe where a model like this comes in. I've yet to find the one RV that works for absolutely everybody. You know, they all have different advantages. They all have different drawbacks. What I'm trying to do is show you where they're different and how it might work for you. These are all going to be 50 amp service. By default, this RV has a single air conditioner, which is what we're looking at today. And I'll tell you, even here in the Midwest, I question that. I would almost rather see this just outfitted right from the factory with the second optional AC, but we can always slap a second air on right from our store. No big deal there. That's one of those 10 cubic foot, 12 volt fridges over on the left, the big old black door that you're looking at right there. Where do I want to begin? There's so much to cover. All right, let's talk about the dinette. Let's talk about the seating. Let me back up. Sorry, I got like, oh, squirrel, and I got ahead of myself. You have a choice between multiple different seat setups on this one. So today, we're looking at the default arrangement straight from the factory with no options. That's a hide-a-bed sleeper sofa and a, I'm going to call it the like easy up-down dream dinette. There is a theater seat option. There is a table and chairs swaption as well. So you have a choice. You know, the way that I phrase it, I go, what's the difference between an option and a swaption? Nothing. It's just my stupid RV nerdism terminology. Swaption is nerdism number 37 if you're playing RV Nerd Bingo. But they have enhanced the last couple of years their dinette, and they are finally doing what I think is the best dinette they have ever done. So first of all, it's not as much of a knee knocker. Now, if you are the person who's sitting all the way over against the wall and you got long legs like me, yeah, the dream dinette mechanism's a little bit in the way. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But for the most part, you have more room there. It's also easy up, down into a sleeper. And I will get these open for you, but they are finally including, after years of not including drawers on the sides of their dinettes, they're including that. Now, people who have bought Cougars made out west instead of from Indiana, which is what I'm recording today, they're like, what are you talking about? Cougars have had drawers on the dinette basis for a while. Well, they did out west. They did not out east. The majority of Cougars produced did not have dinette drawers on them. They may have had doors even at best. The other thing is, Look at how nicely finished this is. Look at the attention to detail that they're applying. They have radius edged that wooden corner so that when you slide in and out, you're not going to like rip your thighs apart. That's one of those things. So like, I'm tall. I have to slide the seat back of my truck a lot, and the metallic hardware where your seat slides forward and back, I have scraped the back of my leg on that sucker several times, and it freaking sucks, dude. So anytime that I don't have an opportunity like that, I'm a pretty happy camper, you know. I do like the nice backlighting there above that kitchen window. It feels like maybe it was supposed to go further left and didn't. I don't know. That's weird. Maybe I'm drunk. I'm not even sure. Where's my power outlets? Where's my outlets at? Okay, here we go. We've got outlets under this overhead cabinet over here. You've got USB and household outlets under the overhead cabinets over here. I do generally prefer when outlets are in the sidewalls, but because this is a laminated wall, it's very, very difficult to do that. So we do have to, you know, make sure we get appliances with a little bit longer cords. And keep in mind, you get something like, you know, toaster ovens and things like that, you really shouldn't be running extension cords by any stretch. I do love this kitchen window, though. There's something about a big window overlooking a sink. I'm just a sucker for it. I love it. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that really speaks to me. I think it probably has to do with something relating to like my childhood growing up and visiting my grandparents, because they had giant windows over the sink like that. Taking a seat at the sofa overlooking the campsite of the RV here, I do want to mention they at least give you, like, if somebody knocks on the door, you do have that little handy window right there to be able to peek or get some breeze rolling across the sofa. The little stand down there, that might be a handy little flip-flop shop. Maybe, you know, keep a dog leash or something down in that little box space. You've also got the electric space heating Tootsie Toaster down here to burn your bunions and warm up the feet. And if somebody's got their feet sticking out on the hide-a-bed that we're looking at today, their feet ain't going to be cold. And again, if you are about borderline blind as a bat as I am without corrective lensing, that's exactly where this is going to come in. This is the most no-neck wrecker, easy viewing entertainment center I think I have seen in a very, very long time. Now, if we dive another layer further, one of the things that you'll see back here is this is like the original version of what I first started to call a pantry-tainment center, where behind the TV, they just maximize the storage. But notice, the RV also still has a good dedicated kitchen pantry. So if someone's watching TV and you go to grab a can of Campbell's soup, you don't have to flip the whole stupid thing open and, you know, get in the way. All of your cabinetry, by the way, in here is a pocket-screwed lumber core. These are thermal foil countertops. They give you awesome space under the sink, which is stainless, by the way, for one or two wastebaskets potentially. There's like a lot of space going on down there. And as we continue to weave our way around, if you really again want to blot out the sun like the arrows of the Persian army attacking King Leonidas, you've got those just total smoke show blackout window shade things going on. Now again, today we are looking at the hide-a-bed sleeper sofa. That's the default seating in this. And people go, well, why wouldn't it be a default theater? Well, because a theater seat costs more, and if you get an option, they want to upcharge you, not downcharge you for an option. Personally, I would outfit this RV. I don't mind this booth. I like this booth, especially with the enhancements. I would get it with a theater seat. So I would go theater seat booth, but that's just me. If you had a choice, what seating setup would you go with here? Theater or hide-a-bed? And then dinette or you know, table and chairs. There's no wrong answers here. I'm just kind of curious, what would you go with given the opportunity? Now, you may have noticed how that TV it's on a severe double jointed swing arm. It can swing around like crazy. Little picture of my blueberry belly over here. I'm starting to look like that kid from Willy Wonka that turned into a blueberry and had to get juiced. Oh, that's the effect chicken nuggets will have on you. Now, before I forget while I'm looking at it, look at the location of the converter. When the slide closes, it's always going to be fully, easily accessible. That's another one of the actual really awesome qualities of this RV. The travel access in it is fantastic. And notice, you're not dealing with any sort of peekaboo, I smell you bathroom doors. However, being fair, we also don't have a really fantastic bathroom vent fan. I do want to point out that we at least do have air conditioning in the bathroom. It's funny how many brands miss that. And something I do like, I prefer a towel bar over a towel hook. I feel like it's more aesthetically pleasing. It looks cleaner when a towel's hanging there to me, and I feel like it dries out faster, you know? When you have a towel hook, it's like it stays bunched up and it takes a lot longer to dry out. Porcelain foot flush stool, and if we look on the left side of the screen, that is what I call fairly fluffy friendly right there, my friends. You've got a just plethora of space around it. I don't think that's the correct use of that word. I don't know why that came out of my head right now. That's kind of the danger of not scripting material and just going from the cuff like I do. Things just come out here. Now I'm at probably the worst angle possible to show you this shower. So I'll spin around the other direction. Now this is a dual entry bathroom. I'm from the other bathroom door right now, which I don't necessarily love. I prefer more of a single entry bath myself. It allows you to do more things with the wall space. But notice how with their barreled ceiling, like it's a 6.5 foot sidewall, but their barreled ceiling allows for plenty of headroom up in here. I'm sorry to jump around like this, like the House of Pain, but I just want to make sure, like Steven Tyler, you don't miss a thing. Anyway, if you want to walk this way with me, we are just going to keep knocking out the pop culture references. I like that stainless sink that you have there. What do we have down here? I forgot to open this previously. Okay, some shelf space. That, you know, I want to kind of knock them for not giving us a spot for a wastebasket in here, but at the same time, I'm looking around this bathroom, and there's really not any sort of dedicated linen storage, so that's not something I really love about this bathroom. Again, I try to be fair. I try to look at this like, what if I was going to buy it? What are the things I would want to know about? So I guess the shelving under the sink does give you a little bit of a spot for some wastebasket space. Very private front bedroom. I do again want to mention, I think we're looking at the absolute base model version of this today. Second air is, it's always prepped for second air. That's what we're looking at today. You can get it with a factory installed second air, which is probably what I would do most of the time, but I didn't build this one. I don't control the inventory that we build anymore. And sometimes there's things where like a customer might actually custom order an RV, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't work out. And we'll just say, hey, no problem. We'll roll that right into our everyday stock. So sometimes we'll get an oddball that I end up recording, and I'm like, why did we do this? Well, initially we didn't plan on it. I do like the breeze across windows here, and their slide sides. These are not laminated, which freaks people out. They're like, well, if they're not laminated, how are they structural? For this, the same way that anything not laminated is structural, just like your roof. Your roof is not laminated, but you've got little household outlets and USB plugs built right into it as a result. And if we are looking, I do believe that I don't usually get to see this. Every other time I've ever seen this model, it had the king bed option, but this is the 60 by 80 queen. This is the standard queen bed. So you have a choice between queen or king. Actually, I don't think they even offered a queen bed option on this last year. So that's right. They didn't. I had to kind of fire up the Wayback Machine in the middle of my mind grapes and figure that out. But they did not even used to offer a queen bed in this. So you now at least have the choice of a queen or a king. The queen obviously has some little mini side stands. I'm not going to call them CPAP stands. I'm going to call them phone charger stands in there. But hey, you know, you have more ways to build this now. I do want to point out, when you see a full front closet, I think a lot of people almost auto assume washer dryer prep. This does not have that. Now, models like the 33RLI Cougar have washer dryer prep, but this one doesn't. Are you okay with that? Do you think that's a miss? In my experience, almost nobody with an RV that does have washer dryer prep actually does it. But if it's something you need, there's no other way around it. You just basically got to have it. So I think that it's a bit of a tale of two cities when it kind of comes to that here. And overall, your bedroom storage in this is not terrible. You got some serious dresser space going on. You got a quadruple double dip of dresser drawer galore down below there. Again, full 8-foot wide front closet on the sucker, and the bed is easy lift. Now, you might notice that the storage doesn't go all the way to the exterior sidewall. It's partitioned, so you have part of it inside and part of it outside. That's probably where the name partition comes in, because you have part of it here and part of it there. As dumb as this sounds, I literally never even thought about that. Like, listen, I'm not going to tell you that I'm the sharpest spoon in the pack, but I'm not even going to tell you how old I was when I figured out why it was called the 4th of July. Now, if we take a look at road mode here, at a glance, you're like, sweet, I can get to the bed. And yes, you can get to the bed. I don't know why you're singing it like Pavarotti, but you can get to the bed. It's a rack and pinion slide, though. So according to the letter of the law, you should not try to occupy that bed while it's retracted. Now, the thing is, there are casters. There's wheels under the bed that are offering some kind of support. But Keystone, Cougar, they have not done any sort of testing, nor have they said, yeah, no, it's totally cool if you lay on the bed in transit while it's retracted. So, because they haven't said it, nobody can. So I won't. I'm going to tell you that if that's something that you really want to do, well, you're going to want to apply a healthy dose of common sense and be careful while you do it. Because if you break it, you bought the repair. That's not a warrantable item because you used it in a way that they didn't intend. So I hope that's healthy, extra helpful information. I don't know why I said healthy. I think I meant to say helpful and healthy came out. Anyway, but other than that, because it's only a single slide living, sweeping our way right up here, we can get to all the like kitchen pantry, the silverware drawers, the oven, the stove. It's kind of around the corner, but you can get to the sink. Overall, for a model this size, I think the travel access is pretty good. Is it flawless? No, but this is made for being there more than getting there. But I will say something that's actually fairly impressive is the dry weight of this one and the total GVW. It's lighter than I think you would expect from an RV that is 35 feet long. But the thing is, it is 35 foot long and it's got a full bed slide dedicated right up on the nose of it. And as a result, I don't think half tons should really be towing this. I think it's a little bit longer than what half tons should really consider handling. And with the hitch weight, by the time you load cargo, it's probably going to blow the vast majority of half tons out of the water. And I'd rather keep you safe, you know what I mean? Maybe it's theoretically possible there's some half tons that could move it around, but I certainly wouldn't do it even with a heavy half ton through something like, mountain terrain or anything like that. Now, we do have a full front pass-through, but I really like how they still gave us this dedicated headboard space right here. More storage is never the wrong answer, I think. And as long as we are over in this neck of the woods, let me get you around the corner where you do get to see it is a single-headed sewer monster. There's only one sewer outlet right back there. So it's just a little simpler, easier operation. Now, as I back up, you might notice there's actually two different slide systems kind of in place right here. You have a AccuSlide cable pulled system for your living room super slide, and then it's actually a rack and pinion slide up in the bedroom. It's interesting to me that they actually used two different systems on this RV. So if you look at where the axles are located as compared to the living room slide, you literally couldn't put a rack and pinion slide back there because the ram bar would have to literally go through one of the tires. And it turns out that's not a really good towability factor right there. Now, it does have a full pass-through. It is a little bit smaller on this side versus the other because there's some systems and kind of plumbing stuff going where you see you have that little miniature docking center over there. Up front, they've maintained the use of the Gigi box, and if you're new to that, it's basically the ultimate battery disconnect on steroids. This RV actually has two disconnects. You've got the house disconnect, and then you have a dedicated solar disconnect. So if the RV's in storage for a while without a battery on it, the charge controller's not powering up and down and, potentially breaking down. In worst case scenario, very rare, but technically could start a fire. So they give you a second disconnect to avoid little situations like that. I like including the little doggy leash latch up here. However, I'm wondering if that might fight where some hitch systems have to get mounted on this RV. I'm not sure. That might be more of a theoretical problem than a practical one. Also, if I'm going to have my dog tied up, I kind of prefer them to be under the awning if they're going to be outside. That's just my nerdy little 2 cents here. Now, again, I call this a, practically perfect park camping kind of camper because there's no slides over here on the campsite of the RV. It leaves this whole space wide open for you to just set up all kinds of shop. Very, very nice for like seasonal or long-term kind of campsites. Now, it looks like, well, why didn't they put a bigger awning on it? They put a massive flip-it awning on this thing. It's just, you don't normally have 35 foot of sidewall on a travel trailer staring at you. Now, if you take a look over the top there, over the top, Sylvester Stallone movie, classic, you've got the solar panel kit up top. This has, by default, a minimum 220 watt solar package. There's also 440 and 660 packages. When you go up to the more advanced packages, you get inverters, a 2000 or 3000, depending on which package you're looking at, and a bunch of other hardware that goes with it. Like trying to break down the Keystone Solar Flex suite of things and do a quick video like this, it takes its own, you have to really dedicate its own video to it. But you may have noticed how that solar panel sits up fairly high. One of the cool things about that is it allows air to blow and flow under the panel, which really helps the efficiency. When solar panels, you know, because their job is to sit in the sun, the irony is the hotter they get, the worse they work. So having them able to breathe is actually a major beneficial function. Now, last year, Cougar added ABS, anti-lock braking system, standard on every single thing they make, and that's where the red wheel hubs come in. But look at the suspension. Almost all travel trailers ride on a just totally untreated leaf spring suspension. This is still a leaf spring suspension, but they put the same road armor suspension package on this that they would on one of their big cat Cougar fifth wheels. And what's awesome about that, if you want to keep an RV out of the shop, then you want to bounce it around less. Like, think about it. If you took this thing and you shook it and bounced it really hard down the road, it probably wouldn't work as well, right? Well, if you dampen that shock and that violence, it makes sense it's going to hold together better, right? They're one of the very few travel trailer makers who are actually putting an enhanced suspension on a travel trailer. It's so shockingly rare because I think the average buyer doesn't understand it, and it's expensive. It's not the cheapest thing you could ever add to an RV. Now, the Keystone spare tire is kind of covering it, but it does have a 300-pound rated 2-inch accessory hitch off the back. This thing is also a fully enclosed underbelly that is forced air heated, and you know, has radiant barrier going through the belly, holding tank heaters. It actually has a dedicated heat duct blowing directly onto each individual holding tank, plus an additional just blowing in the underbelly in general. But what's also really cool is after years and years of people saying they should do this, Cougar listened. And if you've been paying attention to Cougar the last couple of years, their whole game plan has been like, tell us what you want. We'll just do that. Like, it hasn't been any more complicated than that. And as a result, I think that they're absolutely crushing it out there in the marketplace right now. And what I'm talking about is they have gone to composite wall paneling. So they call it their HyperCore wall system. Asdel is the most common composite wall panel brand that people are familiar with. Asdel's not siding, by the way. People say, why isn't there Asdel siding? Asdel's not siding. Fiberglass, aluminum, those are siding. But they're using a composite material. They actually, I don't think they used Asdel. I think they used something else that was actually bonding to their glue better, giving them better lamination. So the inside and outside layers of the walls are no longer Luan wood. They are now a composite wall panel. They've been doing that in their floor. They call it hyper deck flooring. So you have composite walls, composite floors, aluminum structure, a snow load walk-on roof, a better suspension package, the ability to have a reasonable factory solar package, a bed slide, a huge closet, a lot of good things going on in this RV. There's things it doesn't do too. But what it does so well. So let me know what you think about it. As I've pointed out through the video, it has what I think are just some awesome qualities. What this RV does, it does extremely well. But it also has a couple significant hitches in its giddy up that I can see somebody looking at going, that is absolutely awful for me. I totally respect that. So to help you try to figure out the dollars and cents side of things, I'll leave you links in the video description where you can check for pricing and availability. Normally, I would say also links to check for similar floor plans, but unless we start looking at a bunch of other front kitchens, I don't know that you're gonna run into a lot of other similar Cougar stuff here. So let me know what you think about her. And if you appreciate the candid way we go about stuff, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.